Currie and Horace Notice. The Commonwealth crown vacant because it was stripped from the Canadian Trevor Berbick, and he, of course, is now a world champion. Well, the two fighters are in the ring. Let's take a closer look at them. First of all, Hughroy Currie. He took the vacant British title in a contest with Funso Banjo. Currie has won 13 of his 19 fights, losing 5 and drawing 1. His opponent, Horace Notice, well, he's the challenger for his title and the Commonwealth crown, and he's unbeaten in 9 contests, winning 6 inside the distance. Well, the most interested ringside spectator is the world title contender Frank Bruno, because he's been helping his stablemate Horace Notice in his preparation for this fight. Our commentators are Reg Guttridge and Jim Watt. We'll hear from them in just a few moments, but let's get the official announcement now from the Master of Ceremonies, Nat Basso.
Gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 12 rounds heavyweight contest of 3 minutes each round for the heavyweight championship of Great Britain and the vacant heavyweight championship of the Commonwealth. Between and introducing to you, defending his title, the heavyweight champion of Great Britain from Catford, Hughroy Currie. And in this corner, the challenger from Birmingham, Horace Notice. At the weigh today, Currie scaled 15 stone, 12.5 pounds. Notice scaled 14 stone, 10 pounds. The officials for this contest appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, your referee, Mr. Sid Nathan of London, your timekeeper, Colin Roberts of Halifax, and your steward in charge, Dr. David Barnett of Liverpool. Thank you.
So there you are, then, all these trimmings done. First meeting is between Currie and Notice. Both from Jamaican stock, obviously. And Notice, who's only had the 9 fights, was actually born in West Brom. And then he went back to the West Indies at only 4 years of age, came back at 21, and would you believe, it was Hughroy Currie who encouraged him to box. So just to help the commentators along, of course, in the black trunks then, the reigning champion, Hughroy Currie, and he has his name emblazoned on his waistband. Big lads, eh? 15, 12.5 Currie. He weighed 15, 4 3/4 when he won the vacant championship, an easily forgettable fight against Funso Banjo in London, and he weighed 16, 1.5 against Kilimanjaro in Cardiff last November. So he's trimmed down a little bit now, 15, 12.5, and he's been working out with the Frank Warren camp at the St Pancras Gymnasium in London. And the reports say that he's been looking a lot better. We'll soon find out. And Horace Notice, obviously, with the Terry Lawless stable, very much a winning stable these days, of course, with Frank Bruno here to give Notice all the encouragement. He's been a bit of a minder for him, in fact. What a nice fellow to have as a minder, anyway. Not that I think Notice needs it. Unbeaten, and he's stopped 6 of those. Well, they might have been old pals at one stage of the game, but they both admitted they've got to get down to business. It's a very important fight for them, British Championships. And vacant Commonwealth, stripped from Trevor Berbick, who's now the world champion. A little bit of come on Leroy coming in. That's the name for Currie, the nickname for these pals. And a little bit of noise from Frank Bruno coming up, come on Horace. I don't think anybody's going to tell him to shut up. So a minute to go in the opening round, Jim.
Yeah, well, a good start there. I've always felt a bit sorry for Currie. His last 2 fights, one against Funso Banjo, the other against Proud Kilimanjaro. He's never had a chance to show off because those were 2 of the most awkward customers in the game. But tonight, this is looking better already. Both boys mean business. They've been in punching range right from the first bell. Plenty of action and an excellent first round, so it should be an exciting contest.
opening round. I tell you, they're not going to look around too much. Scheduled for 12, but I would think a bit unlikely to go. Both take a good shot. So the countdown then to the end of the first round. A little stare at the end that seems to have crept into boxing worldwide, starting with Muhammad Ali. And Ernie Fossey there working in Currie's corner. He's been training him. Originally was with Joe Devitt, and it seems as though Ernie these days is in everybody's corner. And he's got a supporter, although Bruno's come in for notice. Errol Christie, who's boxing in London next week, has come up here to support Leroy or Hughroy Currie. 18 fights, won 12 and stopped 5, Currie. And as Jim Watt rightly says there, that he really had the most awkward customers in his last 2 fights. So the start of this one round, Jim, is better than the 2 long-distance fights he had already, isn't it? That 1 round.
That's a fact. That was an excellent first round. Plenty of action. 2 good, solid professionals. Both want to win the title. It's been a change the previous fight with Banjo.
Coming out for round 2, and I certainly like the way Notice got started there. There was no stage fright, which you could half expect with a fellow of experience like this, who didn't even take up boxing until he was in his 20s. Wanted to be an American-type footballer, I think, at one stage. And as I say, it was Currie who said, "You're a big man, why don't you try and do a bit?" And then he boxed for the Nechells Green Club at Birmingham. And he represented England and won twice against American opposition, I seem to remember, down in Gloucester and in Park Lane in London. So he's a bit underrated, Notice. I've seen a few of his pro fights now, about 6 out of the 9. Currie's had American experience. He was managed at one time by Maurice Hope, former stablemate of Jim Watson, world champion. And he won them in Atlantic City in '84, 2 fights. So certainly the Warren camp have been really pumping into Currie. This is the be-all and end-all for you if you can't win this one. When Notice throws the punch to the body there, he gets an echo from Frank Bruno saying, "That's it downstairs," which is boxer talk for punches to the body. They're pretty mobile for their size, Jim, really, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a fact. Notice his punches are a little bit more accurate this round than Currie. I thought Currie, having more than a stone's weight advantage, he would be trying to push Notice back and make him work all the time. But he's not doing that. He seems quite content to stand up. He got caught with a shot there.
Well, he did well to come back from that punch, though. It looked as though he was well tagged, but he came back to try and take a little bit of the advantage away from Notice. Minute to go then in the second, and it's a very lively heavyweight start, this. There's been 1 or 2 derisive remarks made about the fight like this. I suppose we never did think we'd cover one with a Hughroy and a Horace in a British Championship fight, Jim, but I mean, I could think of 1 or 2 heavyweights in the past that these fellas would have beaten. Beginning to show the right hand a bit, Jim, that he wants to throw it. He shouldn't do that with an experienced fighter like Currie.
Yeah, I don't know if he's showing it or if he's trying to feint to draw a lead. I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen Notice too often. I don't know his style yet. He may. I know the Terry Lawless gymnasium, that a feint is a great manoeuvre in that gymnasium to draw a lead. Maybe he's trying to do that. I don't know. But he's certainly nicking this round anyway. His punches have been more accurate and busier.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
Round 3.
So welcome back then for round 3, a scheduled 12-rounder for the British Heavyweight Championship, being defended by Hughroy Currie in the black trunks, and for the vacant Commonwealth Championship. It's all happening in the heavyweight scene these days, with Frank Bruno at ringside as well, and John Wethgarth, the Geordie fighter, actually challenging Stefan Tangstad of Norway for the European Championship next week in Copenhagen. And I say challenging, it's actually vacant, of course, vacated by Frank Bruno, is now eyeing the world title. There's some good right hands coming in from Notice. I tell you, they've got him ready for this fight, Jim, considering his inexperience.
Yeah, he's a little bit wild, a little bit loose, but he's certainly putting the power into the punches. Curry's just a little bit more compact, a little more defensive-minded, if you like. But Notice is prepared to take the chances, and some of his punches are getting through.
Well, he's had to do it the hard way for Currie, I must say. He's been all over the place. Bilbao, Basildon, Birmingham. Us old hacks, really, we do like the alliterations. It's an interesting championship fight this has turned out. I had some reservations, Jim. You thought right from the start it was going to be a hard one. I wasn't too sure about it. Perhaps I've been misguided by Currie's last 2 performances. Oh, what a good right-hander there.
Yeah, well, I took that into consideration, and I think we have a little bit of local pride, if you like. None of the boys want to go home losing to the others. There's a little bit of pride in here. Also, I think Currie is a little bit better than we give him credit for because of the 2 awkward opponents. He's boxing quite well, nice and compact, good concentration. A couple of times he's been knocked out of his rhythm by Notice, but he always gets back into business again. Yeah, shaping up well.
As you say, the rivalry is also a little bit hotter because they only live about a mile apart in London. New Cross and just up the road at rather posher Brockley, says Currie. So half a minute to go in round 3. And I suppose now we possibly could ask about staying powers now, with Notice not having had any championship experience. But he's been 8 rounds twice, and one of them was when he knocked out Noel Corliss in an official eliminator to fight for this championship.
Curry's looked a little bit more polished in that round.
All right.
Armadillo.
Gentlemen, will you please concentrate? You have all night until you are correct.
A pint of Guinness.
Correct?
Pure genius, John.
Aye.
It's the strong, dark body and the deep, inspiring taste that makes Guinness.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Armadillo.
Pure genius.
Seconds out. Round 4.
So welcome back then for round 4. And I tell you, it's going to be hard to sort this one out there. Sid Nathan, the referee, an old East Ender, actually emigrated to Hertfordshire now. And he's had 9 world championships he's worked in, 25 Europeans. 1 or 2 controversial decisions in his time, but he's the sole arbiter, as they say, for this one, no judges. And he usually controls the fight well, Sid Nathan, anyway. This slim man, but not afraid to dive in when he has to. They're headhunting a bit, Jim, but it's effective, isn't it? Long punches.
Yeah, well, they're both landing, and notice his punches. Oh, it's got him. Serious trouble.
Well, it looks as though Currie's in bother now. He mustn't punch himself out here, notice. This is where he's got to plant the punches a bit accurately. But Currie floundering. He did this with Kilimanjaro. He's out on the press table. He's fallen out there. No use in waving. It's all over. The referee will give him time to get back in the ring. He's saying don't throw the man there, although the punches led up to it. But the referee gave, quite rightly, Currie time to get back in. He'll do well to hang on now, Currie, in the fourth.
Currie doesn't want to fight back here. He wants to get a hold of Notice and just think about defence. Just get a hold of him and don't let him work, because he's badly hurt. He's in serious trouble here.
But he's throwing a bit, Notice. The referee definitely there has had to tell Notice don't throw the man. Now, what's going to happen now if Currie does manage to get over here with a minute to go in the round? Is he going to be a bit tired now, Notice? He's certainly thrown some ammunition there and came so close to winning. Well, you can't question Hughroy's courage, I'll tell you that. He did well. Well, look at this, Jim. He's making a bit of a climb back now, isn't he, Currie?
Yeah, well, Currie should just be thinking of defence. He's lost the round. Don't take any chances. Get through this round. Give him a chance to recover himself. Take no chances.
The referee having a try. He didn't want to work in there and wrestle them, but he may have to. So then it's about 15 seconds to the end of this round, and he'll need a good sit down here, Currie, but he's fought back well. He may well be past the danger point now. Yes, there it is. Well, I tell you, he's done well to get back in that corner there. I hand it to Currie because Notice really did well. He unloaded those punches and out of the ring went this fellow. Currie there, and I don't know, it was Italian journalist actually. They wondered what had happened. They thought lunch had been served a bit early, Jim. He really flopped on their laps, but the referee allowed him to come back under the bottom rope. I think you'll actually, in world boxing, you get 20 seconds to get back on a situation like that, Jim.
Yeah, well, it was a push. It wasn't actually a punch that knocked Currie out of the ring. It was a push, although he was in serious trouble before he went down. It was the push that put him out of the ring, so the referee handled it very well, gave him time to get back in again and recover again. But that was a tremendous round. It's a long time since we've seen such an exciting round on the British heavyweight scene. This is first-class stuff. Really looking forward to the next round.
Seconds out, round 5.
So into round 5 then. Now, can Currie come back? Can Notice do it again? Gets up on his toes well, Currie. It's amazing. He's been in trouble like that. He's quite mobile, really, for a big lad, 15, 12 and a half. So he's had to slow down a bit now, Notice, Jim. Obviously, Terry Lawless and Co and Jimmy Tibbs have said, hey, you know, you've had a fling there, take it easy for a round, or fairly easy.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think that's the way Terry thinks. I think the way Terry goes about his work, if you've had a good round, go back out and have a better round. But I think they'll probably tell him to wait until he lands a good punch. Don't go wild, don't throw unless there's a target. But he has the confidence now of knowing that he can hurt Currie. So he'll be looking for the one big shot and then hopefully follow it up again. But that round must have given him a lot of confidence, even if he's worried about the energy he used up. Must have given him a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it looks as though he's trying to pot shot a little bit now, Notice. As Jim Watt quite rightly said there, I was really judging that on the fact that he's comparatively inexperienced, unlike, say, Terry Lawless having to talk to a Maurice Hope or a Jim Watt, who had been around so much longer when they were in this level. he's trying to open up. I still got a feeling that Norris might be thinking, well, I don't want to knock myself out trying to knock the other fellow out, Jim.
Yeah, of course, there's a problem if he's never boxed 12 rounds before. But I think he's now looking for the openings and putting the powerful punches in rather than keep the work rate going. He landed another couple of good punches, bang on Currie's chin then. But Currie stood for the test.
My boyfriend Ted came round to paint my flat. He's a rock and roller. He's also a rotten roller. Fortunately, new Crown Plus 2 roller paint is specially formulated to work with a clever grid, which gets just the right amount of paint on the roller and on the wall. Wow, what a finish!
New Crown Plus 2 roller paint in matte and silk vinyl. You'll never rot and roll again.
Second out, round 6.
Well, 6th round then. At one point, it didn't seem as though it was going to go that long. And Hughroy Currie surviving being shoved or knocked or fallen out of the ring, whichever way we want to interpret that. And it's been a very lively championship fight and some hard punches going in. You can see there, as though he stumbled on that one. Jimmy would have wondered what had happened, notice.
7, 8,
He's leaving it a bit late. No, he's got to get up. He did it well, though. He knew what he was doing. Cut it a bit fine.
Oh, he's come back with a good right hand, Reg.
Yep. Well, what do you know about that?
3, 4,
so the other one now, this is a tit-for-tat job, this.
7, 8.
Very clear into the eyes then of the champion. And he's got plenty of time in the round now. Notice if he can pick the punches. He's got Currie floundering all the time. With 2 minutes to go in the 6th. And now he wasn't looking for a gate in the ropes there to get out of it. He just fell across the ring. He'll do well to survive this one, Currie. He's doing the right thing in a boxing sense to hang on. There's no point in trying to stand and trade until he can pull his senses together. He's a brave enough guy, but it's noticed him packing in the punches. And the referee standing right on top of him. He won't waste a second if he thinks that Currie can't continue. He's had another good look at him. Look at that. Looks seconds away from me. And he's in now, Nathan. I thought he would be. Just trying to give Currie that little bit of scope there. Well, what a scene there at the end of the ring as Terry Lawless and Jimmy Tibbs dive into the ring there, and Frank Black, the winning stable, have come up with another heavyweight champion, Jim. They had Bruno as European champion. He didn't win this title. And John L. Gardner, of course. And at one time, he also had Neville Mead as heavyweight champion.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see the British heavyweight scene back on its feet again. That was a tremendous fight we've just had. And notice that he picked his time nicely. As soon as he got on top, he didn't let Currie off the hook. He's putting power into every punch. And although the punches he was landing at the finish weren't as good as the knockdown punches, Currie wasn't coming back with much. I think the referee timed it nicely.
Have a look at the replay there, Jim, then, of the finish there. The referee started to stand on top of him a little bit after this. He told his corner not to scream out to stop it. He was very aware of when to stop it. That is the point where Notice went down first. And it was quite shocked. I mean, you don't often see a fellow coming off the floor and then winning. Well, you probably never see one coming off the floor and winning the British Championship in the same round. And then he turned it around, and that's where the contest suddenly took a different look entirely when he hurt Currie, and over he went.
In 1 minute, 50 seconds of the 6th round, the referee has stopped the contest. Currie was in no position to defend himself.
Hello there. Pan Am have asked me to tell you about their great holidays. To America, Florida, California, New York. Everywhere. And from only £249. Great discounts, too. Free hotels or up to 3 weeks free car hire. Oh, if only I could drive. So see your travel agent or call Pan Am on 01200 0200 now for details. Pan Am certainly gets my seal of approval. Bye!
A new Audi? Minories. Good idea.
Horace Notice, many congratulations. You're the new champion of Britain and the Commonwealth. You must be delighted with your afternoon's work.
Thanks a lot. As you only had 9 fights, I suppose Cormus is coming to the fight overconfident. And I'm glad that I won the British and Commonwealth title in only my 10th fight. And what most of all pleased me, that I'm the first heavyweight to ever win a British and Commonwealth title in the 10th fight.
But for an inexperienced fighter, for a novice, you did tremendously well. Did you expect to end it perhaps a little bit earlier on when you had him on the floor?
Yeah, but it was a very good fight. I hung on deliberately because it was his title, and you know that I was very determined to come and take it from him.
Let's just bring Terry Lawless in here for a moment. Terry, how do you sum up this achievement by Horace, winning these titles when he's so inexperienced?
Well, he was a top amateur. He was ABA champion, and he's had the benefit of working with not just Frank Bruno, but Gary Mason, Adrian Elliott, which has brought him on tremendously. But it was a very good heavyweight fight, thank goodness. I think we've been looking for a good heavyweight fight for a time, and full praise to Currie. He took a lot of good punches and hung in there, and, you know, almost with the lack of experience of Notice, he could have pulled it off.
Yeah. Just looking behind you, there's Frank Bruno, who I think we heard almost as much as Reg Guttridge in the commentary, and it's tremendous how these two have worked together.
Well, there's, you know, it's Mason's here as well, and it's great that there's such 3 great pals.
Absolutely. We'll just bring Frank over here. Frank, come on over and have a word with us.
Probably outbreak.
Because, Frank, we were hearing you there, and you got as involved in this fight, possibly as in 1 or 2 when you've been inside the ring for real.
He's been training 6 months for this fight, you know. My voice has gone a little bit funny, I might sound.
So all that shouting.
He's been training 6 months for this fight, and I feel for this guy, because this guy is a really nice somebody, you know. He's a really nice person, and he done the job tonight, and I really feel glad to him. He's just breaking down crying there, but I feel so sad for him. I know Trevor as well, he's a nice guy, you know, but I know he had to do the job tonight, Horace, because it's make or break time for him, and he done it. I just thank God he done it. He's a very, very nice person, you know. What
were your impressions of the fight overall?
I knew it would be a tough fight because both of them know each other. They live about 2 miles away from each other. There's a lot of ego at stake, and Currie's a very proud man, and I know that he'll have to really knock Currie down to beat him tonight, and I knew it was going to be a hard fight, but I knew that Horace would do it. I just had the feeling in my heart that he would do it, and I'm just glad that he's done it, you know what I mean?
You would almost seem to be happier inside the ring than out of it, because you were really suffering outside, weren't you, Frank?
No, I really lost... Sorry. I really, you know what I mean, was shouting for him. I'm just glad for him, seriously. I really, from the heart. He's from the same stable as me. I trained with him for about 4 years. I just thank God that he's won, and I really just hope he keeps it for a long time, because I'm really glad that he's won it. He's a really nice guy, Horace, you know what I mean? I'm glad he won it.
I know, Frank, you now have got your eyes on higher things, and goodness me, we all hope you go on and win that world title. Yeah. What about this British title, though? Did you regret sometime that you haven't been able to fight for it?
I regretted it, but I had to go for the European to go for the world title, and the world title is much more important than the British title, but deep down in my heart, the British title means a lot, because it's always nice to be champion of your own country, but the European title is much more higher than the British, and the world title is much more higher than the European, so I'm going for the world title, and I'm just 1 fight away from the world title, and it should be coming this summer.
And we hope it'll come, and it'll come successfully as well.
Thanks a lot.
Frank Bruno, thanks very much indeed. More from the Isle of Man in a couple of minutes.
Thanks a lot.